Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. This week marks the 20th anniversary of Chris Jericho becoming the first undisputed champion of the WWF and WCW by beating both The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin on the same night in 2001. I spoke with Jericho in 2015, the morning after SummerSlam, as he prepared to host the WWE reality competition Tough Enough, long before leaving the company to start his own rival promotion, AEW.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Chris, thanks so much for taking the time to join us on WTOP.
No problem.
I'm up here in New York because I just got back from SummerSlam. Are you up here as well?
I am. I'm in New York City right now.
Quite a controversial finish there between Brock and Undertaker there. But I did see your Tough Enough contestants were there in the front row. How cool do you think that was for them to be able to taste it like that, see it right up close?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons to sign up for Tough Enough. You get free front row tickets to SummerSlam. What more do you want? But it's good for them to be there and to see kind of the vibe of the live show. They were there the night before as well for the NXT TakeOver. And I think for all of these competitors, they've been through so much over the last 10 weeks. But to get a chance to sit in the front row and kind of feel the energy and feel the vibe and the intensity, that's really going to kind of give them a little even more of a taste of what it's like to be a WWE superstar and make them work even harder tomorrow night to win this whole thing.
How's this year's crop looking to you? I assume you followed past years of Tough Enough. I remember back when Maven won it the first time around. How has the crop just grown and grown over the years of even more competitive people joining this competition?
Well, you never know what you're going to get. When you say, become a WWE superstar, take a chance, and when you get over 11,000 submissions for people who want to be on the show, you got to whittle that down to 13, and you don't know what you're getting. But over the last 10 weeks, we've really seen some real gems, and I think it's the right Final Four in the finale tomorrow night. And I think Josh and Zizi and Amanda and Sarah are both kind of two sides of the coin. You got, I think, Josh and Amanda are the more naturals for this, with the look, with the personality, with the in-ring ability. And then you got Zizi and Sarah, who are kind of behind in those areas, but they have this really strong likability factor, this connection with the audience that's brought them here, and that's important as well. That's all part of being a WWE superstar, is having that emotional investment with the fans. So you're getting both sides of the coin. I think all four of them could walk out as the winner of this thing, just depending on how they do when they have their live match tomorrow night in front of a live audience, in front of the world, on the season finale of Tough Enough.
Definitely. And why is it, for you personally, why is it important for you to give back in this way? I know you had all the in-ring success, you have your music, you have like a pop culture, you weigh in on the I Love the 90s and all that stuff, but why is it important for you to give back and help this new generation coming up?
Well, it's not so much giving back. I'm kind of just the observer, and then once we had 4 or 5 weeks in, then I started getting more involved. And I think I still love the sport. I love wrestling. I love the WWE, and I like being involved in a lot of different ways. I'm not finished with my in-ring career. I work every weekend for the WWE, just not on the televised shows. But I like being a part of kind of the evolution of Tough Enough and how we've been able to put this thing together and how we've made it flow and made it work when you have a show that's never been done like this before. Half reality, half live, with a worldwide fan-based vote. How the hell do you do a show like that? And we've really figured it out and worked hard to get it going. So I think from a behind-the-scenes part of it, it was a lot of fun as well. So it's just been cool to be a part to see how the project has evolved and succeeded, and having been a big part of that both on camera and off has been a great experience for me.
Definitely. And here we are. It's hard to believe, but here we are in 2015. That means it's 15 years since Y2J, then that countdown scroll came on, and if you ask me, it's the best theme song ever that ever hit the WWE. But and you stormed out and interrupted The Rock and got his famous "It Doesn't Matter." What are your memories of when you first burst on the scene? Because you're helping those Tough Enough guys, but what was your first time in the WWE like? Looking back on it 15 years later.
Well, yeah, it's unbelievable, man. It's actually, to be honest with you, it's actually 16 years. I came in August of '99, So I think I'm probably one of the most long-standing employees there, which is funny because I don't feel it. You know, I have actually my 25th anniversary of being in the wrestling business is going to fall on October 3rd when we have a show in Madison Square Garden. That's exactly 25 years from my first match at the Ponoka Moose Hall in Ponoka, Alberta, all the way to Madison Square Garden. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it does seem like it's been that long. And it's I take great pride in the fact that I'm still in the business and still performing at a high level. I mean, that's why I like doing the live events, because I still am kind of testing myself. Can I still do it? Can I still be Chris Jericho? Can I still be Y2J? Can I still have the best match on the show or one of the best matches? And I'm finding that the answer to that is yes. And when the answer to that is not sure, maybe, or no, then I'm done. You won't see me in the ring anymore. But that's kind of cool how I've built my career, and that I come back to wrestling because I enjoy it, not because I have to. And when I start feeling like I'm a step below, then I'll step aside very easily and very quickly. There will be no retirement show or retirement match or retirement tour or any of that other BS. I'll just fade off into the sunset and I'll go on to my next thing.
That's so Jericho. That's the way. That's exactly how.
It's the way it should be, of course.
What about other guys that seem to kind of, stick around there? I mean, we have Undertaker, Brock going at it now. They were headlining back, I don't know, at the early 2000s as well, and they're still there. We saw Flair there last night. He was doing interviews in the front of the arena last night. What is it about wrestling and WWE specifically that allows people to, that they can kind of just stick around and be sort of a legend that can come back and main event a match? You have to work really hard and train even more the older you get, I assume. But what is it that makes WWE special in that regard, as opposed to say NFL or something where you can't watch your Johnny Unitas quarterback?
I don't know, and it's not that you have to work harder when you're training. I think you change up your training procedures. I started doing yoga about 5 years ago, and that just opened up a whole new door for me. So it's very easy for me to go out there and have a good match physically and mentally. And I think the biggest thing is experience. When you have 25 years experience, it does put you on a different level because there are so many new guys now. But if you can still go and still move, then that's the secret right there. So maybe NFL or NHL, maybe it's not as controlled. Maybe we have more of an option to kind of do the shows we want to do and don't have to play a full season. I don't think it'd be a very good idea for someone to play in the NFL and only say, I'm going to only play in Denver and I'm going to play Detroit and I'm going to play in San Diego, but that's it. So I think if you're smart about the match, like look at Undertaker, he does very minimal matches, but so that the ones he can do are very high impact. For me, I'm still at the point where I can do, like people say, why do you just do the non-televised shows? And it's like, I don't know, it's fun. I like it. And maybe only the 10,000 people that are in the arena see it. But to me, I kind of like that. I always like doing things different from the norm. And I'd rather do it that way than just show up at WrestleMania once a year. And for me, I think that's cool to do that, but I'd rather do the shows and kind of take it to the streets and do it that way. That's just kind of how I'm wired, I guess. Absolutely. Will we ever see you do the big live show again coming up? Yeah, well, I mean that's all up to kind of the WWE and what they would want me to do. And if we figure out a good story and both of our schedules mesh, then of course I'll come back. But it's all about, what would I be doing? Who would I be in there with? That's more important to me right now than anything else. Because if I'm going to do something, I want it to be impactful. I don't want to be there just to be there. I don't need to do that. I want to come back and do something with purpose and have a mission and something I can sink my teeth into. Perfect. Who was did you have a favorite opponent over the years that you thought brought the best out of you in the ring and on the mic? There's been a few. I mean, Shawn Michaels, the feud I had with Shawn Michaels was my all-time favorite. I mean, I think he was the perfect opponent for me, and we had a classic storyline that nobody will ever forget. I'd also throw Rey Mysterio in there, The Rock, John Cena was a blast. But even with some of the new guys I'm working, I've worked with Kevin Owens over the last few months, Finn Balor, Cesaro, Barrett. All of those guys are very, very good performers. Luke Harper. So I'm enjoying working with them as well, even though it's not so much from a promo side of things. It's still from a work rate side of things. All of those guys are amazing. There's this whole new generation of younger guys that have the same style that I do, and I love working with them. So I think that's kind of rejuvenated me to an extent as well. That's cool. Did you have a wrestling hero when you were growing up? Probably Shawn Michaels, Ricky Steamboat, Owen Hart, Hulk Hogan. Those are my favorite guys.
So is that one of the reasons why working with Shawn was so big to you, that you grew up watching him and then all of a sudden you're putting on legendary matches with him yourself?
In a way, but that kind of goes by the wayside. When you become a professional, I mean, I think maybe the first time we worked together, it was a pretty cool thing. But then you get down to business as two professionals in there trying to put on the best show we can, and you kind of leave that fanboy thing behind. The same thing happened with Ricky Steamboat when I worked with him, or Hogan when I worked with him. It's like at first you can't believe you're in the ring with them. It's the same thing when Fozzy toured with Metallica, or we were about to go on tour with Kiss. I mean, it's a huge deal, but when it comes down to it, you got to go out there and kick ass and do your thing and prove that you belong in there, or else it's not going to last. And like I said, you go from fan to peer to friends to almost competition. That's a good natural progression. That's the way it should be. Because if you're a true pro, that's the way you want it.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, I know you got to get to some other interviews here, so thanks so much for taking the time to join us, and best of luck with the end of Tough Enough this year. Should be fun.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.